You have high income, great cash flow, maybe even 80K saved up in the bank with a 699 score, yet you're getting choked on limits, denied for premium cards, and you can't seem to get the interest rate for that $1 million investment property. Or maybe it's $2 million. Well, since we're already talking about millions, how about this? 4.4 million Americans just had their social security numbers, birth dates, and personal data stolen by TransUnion in July 2025 this year. Mainstream outlets reported the hack. What they didn't cover is how to turn TransUnion's mistakes into your leverage. That breach didn't just let data slip. It spotlighted the same compliance shortcuts like in your own credit profile. Every documented FCRA violation isn't just a fixable mistake. Handled right, it's an on-ramp capital leverage and privileges reserved for the financial elite. Stack these, and you're no longer settling for plebeian waiting lines or standard approvals. Instead, you're triggering instant access to multi-million-dollar credit lines, negotiating terms that most applicants never even see, and enjoying red carpet treatment while the rest are lost in plebeian bureaucracy. While the news is focused on the hack itself, TransUnion is already writing settlement checks. And that's just scratching the surface, because the breach exposes a much bigger pattern of law-breaking that most people can turn into real money. Here's the twist. Everyone's panicking about stolen data, but the real money isn't in identity theft protection. It's in TransUnion's track record of breaking the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Regulators have fined them over $56 million in just the last 2 years. And the same violations, they can actually be monetized by you. I'm Nguyen, founder of Pinnacle Credit Management. I didn't learn this business from a Google search, binge watching parroted content on YouTube, or a DOI course. I was mentored by Austin William Cooper, the attorney who advised President John F. Kennedy and the founder of Lexington Law, the most influential legal force in credit repair history. Pinnacle's approach fuses modern AI with decades of FCRA war stories. I took what I learned from the pioneers who won the very first credit bureau class actions, built ACAT, which stands for Automatic Credit Analytic Technologies, the only true artificial intelligence system in the field, to automate at the level no computer can match. Our results speak for themselves. Over 7,000 clients served, bankruptcies deleted in days, and credit scores rebuilt for people who thought they were out of options. And a playlist here in the link description where you can check out on my channel, which has hundreds of successful client case studies. When I talk about beating the bureaus, I'm not giving theory. I'm showing you what legendary litigators and next generation technology achieved together. Every claim I make today is backed by federal documents and undeniable results, because with Pinnacle, you're not getting credit repair. You're getting a masterclass from the people who invented it. In this video, I'll walk you step by step through how to audit your own TransUnion file, how to document the violations, and how to use a 3-step process that can turn these violations into real settlement money. Let's be real. If you're one of those millions affected by this breach, you probably feel exposed. Your social security number, your birthday, your address out there. And to top it off, TransUnion waited almost a month to even tell you. But here's where things flip. You don't have to stay in victim mode. You can take that frustration and turn it into leverage. You can go from data breach victim to empowered consumer who actually collects settlement money and gets their credit report wiped clean. This isn't just some random accident. It's part of a long pattern. Now, what happened isn't just some accident. This is part of a long, foretelled pattern by TransUnion and the other bureaus. The same corner cutting that led to this breach is the same mentality behind the FCRA violations the government has already nailed them for. TransUnion makes billions controlling your financial reputation, but they've been caught over and over breaking the very laws designed to protect you. Regulators collect their penalties. The real question is, why aren't you collecting yours? So let's connect the dots. July's breach shows that they can't protect your data, but the bigger picture is this. They can't even follow basic federal law when it comes to your credit file, and that's where opportunity lies. This isn't just another hack. It's proof of how careless TransUnion is. That same carelessness that left your data exposed, it's the same behavior regulators keep busting them under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Here are the facts. On July 28, 2025, hackers broke into a third-party Salesforce app connected to TransUnion that opened the door to 4.4 million records, names, addresses, phone numbers, birth dates, and social security numbers. They knew about it, and they waited almost a month to notify you. This was part of the Shiny Hunters ransomware campaign, the same group hitting other Fortune 500 companies. But here's the connection. If TransUnion can't even secure their system, do you really think they're handling your credit disputes correctly? Of course not. And the government agrees. Every penalty, every fine is documented proof of that exact negligence. Section 2, TransUnion's $56 million penalty pattern. Let's talk about their track record. Just in the last 2 years, TransUnion has racked up over $56 million in fines. That's not me speculating. That's straight from the CFPB and the FTC. 2023 security freeze violations. In 2023, they got hit with an $8 million fine for failing to honor more than 40,000 security freeze requests. For years, people thought their freezes were in place. They weren't. That's an FCRA violation right there. And each one of those could have been worth $100 to $1,000 to the consumer who documented it. Then in 2024, the CFPB and FTC fined them $15 million for botching rental background checks. They were reporting false eviction data, denying housing, and ignoring proper dispute investigations. That's the same sloppy behavior you see in everyday credit disputes. And right now, in 2025, there's an active class action settlement worth $2.5 million. If you got a breach notice, you're automatically in line for a minimum payment of $40. No form needed. But let's be honest, $40 is pocket change compared to what these violations are actually worth. If you pursue them individually, and class action lawsuits are a strong indicator that you should, then you should do so. Pocket change to what these violations are actually worth if you pursue them individually. See the pattern? Sloppy disputes, fines stacked up year after year, and all of it is documented in government enforcement actions that you can use as leverage. The 5 TransUnion violations in your credit file. Now let's break down the 5 biggest violations that could already be hiding in your credit file. Each one has a dollar value attached. Violation 1 is the sham investigations. If you ever disputed something and got a canned letter back, the same template they send everyone, that's a sham investigation. Under Section 1681A of the FCRA, they're required to conduct a responsible reinvestigation. Most of the time, they don't. And that's worth $100 to $1,000 per violation. So the key to winning this is stacking up these violations like a set of dominoes. Violation 2, illegal reinsertions. Ever had a debt deleted only for it to reappear later? That's illegal reinsertion. The law says TransUnion has to notify you 5 days before it comes back. They almost never do. That's a $1,000 violation right there. Violation 3, security failures. If you requested a freeze and later found it wasn't in place, that's exactly what the CFPB fined them $8 million for. Each failed freeze is another $100 to $500 in your favor. Violation 4, inaccurate data. This one's simple. Compare your TransUnion report with Experian and Equifax. If balances don't match, or if TransUnion is reporting something that others aren't, that's inaccurate information. Document it with screenshots. Each error is worth $100 to $1,000. You can also gather these. This is a TransUnion report, an Experian credit report. You can highlight the violations right here like I did. You will get these in the mail when you file a dispute. By law, they're supposed to send you credit reports. The key is to take these reports and match them with your other reports that you have in other places. Just a little hint. Violation 5, identity theft mishandling. And with 4.4 million Social Security numbers now floating around, identity theft is inevitable. If TransUnion refuses to place a fraud alert or mishandles your identity theft dispute, that's another violation, and those are worth over $1,000 each. So the question isn't if these violations exist. The question is whether you're going to document them and cash in. Let me show you exactly how that works. Phase 4, the development phase. Section 4, the Pinnacle Credit 3-step violation to settlement system. Step number 1, the audit. How to start your TransUnion. Grab your full TransUnion report, go to annualcreditreport.com or TransUnion's portal and download the newest report as a PDF. Print a copy you can mark up. If you disputed before, pull every email, letter, and receipt tied to the past TransUnion interactions. Lay out your dispute history. Put every dispute letter, certified mail receipt, tracking number, and TransUnion response in order by date. Match each piece to the exact account it's about. Note what happened. Did they call it frivolous? Did they update, delete, or did something later come back? Hunt for illegal reinsertions. Scan for any negative item that disappeared and then magically reappeared, especially within 6 to 24 months. You should have received a notice at least 5 business days before anything gets put back. No notice? That's a red flag and potentially a violation. Verify if freezes and locks actually happen. Look at your history of security freezes and credit locks. By law, TransUnion generally has about 3 business days to put those in place. If a freeze was delayed, ignored, or never worked, document it. Those can be $100 to $1,000 in violations underneath the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Check for sloppy data and inconsistencies. Go line by line, trade lines, balances, payment histories, personal info. Then compare TransUnion to Experian and Equifax. If TransUnion shows a wrong balance, a ghost account, or outdated info the others don't, save it. Don't forget addresses, phone numbers, employer data, and all inquiries. Look for identity theft fallout. Review any hard inquiries or new accounts you didn't authorize, especially after July 2025. If you reported identity theft or got a breach notice, confirm fraud alerts were actually placed. If not, then log it. Document like a pro. Take clear screenshots, data stamp everything, and store it in a secure folder. Keep a running summary of each issue and tag it with the relevant FCRA section. For example, 1681I subdivision A for reinvestigations, 1681C for certain reporting rules. The goal is simple: clean, organized, undeniable evidence. Give yourself 1 to 2 weeks and use simple tools. A thorough audit usually takes like a week or 2. Use a spreadsheet to track items like Excel or something, color-coded folders for documents, and simple checklists to mark progress. This is very important, people. Why this all matters? This isn't just error spotting, it's a forensic prep. You're sorting issues by violation type and building leverage for disputes. CFPB complaints, attorney letters, or class action participation. Every cleanly documented problem, failed freeze, missing a fraud alert, illegal reinsertion, bad data can translate into stronger negotiations and potentially bigger settlements. Here's a quick audit checklist. Step 2, evidence collection. Build an unbreakable case. Start with the timeline. Open up a spreadsheet or a master document and log every suspected violation. Write down the date, the account, and what type of violation you think it is. Note when you first spotted the problem, when you sent in a dispute or freeze request, and how long it took TransUnion to respond. The goal here is to see your story unfold in order. Tag each issue with the law that they broke. This is where you connect the dots. For example, Section 1681I, they blew off your dispute and sent a sham response. Section 1681C, they kept reporting old, obsolete things. Section 1681S2, Subdivision B, a creditor ignored their duty to investigate after TransUnion told them. Section 1681C1, they mishandled a fraud alert or security freeze. And don't stress about mesmerizing code numbers, just keep them next to each violation in your notes. Gather the proof. Stack up every letter you've sent, every certified mail receipt, every email, every reply from TransUnion. Screenshot your reports for and after you disputed. Save breach notices, class action eligibility letters, or anything that references identity theft. Think of it as building a case file. Sort it by category. Make folders labeled things like sham investigations, illegal reinsertions, freeze failures, reporting errors, identity theft. Drop your documents in the right bucket so that you can pull them instantly when needed. Highlight where they went silent. If they didn't reinvestigate within 30 days, ignored your freeze request, or failed to warn you about a reinsertion, that silence is part of your evidence. Save all those verified as accurate stuff too, or no change template letters too. They're proof of cookie cutter investigations. Keep your files clean. Save PDFs as PDFs, screenshots as PNGs, and original scans in the original format. Back them up. One secured cloud copy, one encrypted local copy. Don't alter them. You want evidence, not edited files. Write short summaries. For each violation, jot down a 2 to 3 sentence recap. What happened, why it breaks the law, and what evidence you have in hand. These little narratives will make it easy to plug into the CFPB's complaint portal and a class action claim or a conversation with a lawyer. Track chain of custody. Date stamp every file. Log every submission. Every tracking number, every delivery confirmation. If it moved through your hands, make it a record. Double check everything. Reconcile your documents with your credit reports. Confirm the violation is still showing, or note if it's gone. Then cross-reference the actual enforcement orders and lawsuits and see if the government has already fined TransUnion for the same thing. That makes your case bulletproof. And step 3, settlement pursuit. This is where you escalate. File CFPB complaints back with the government's own enforcement documents. Demand records from TransUnion. And if needed, involve an attorney who knows how to negotiate these claims. Most cases resolve in 5 to 8 weeks. I've seen it happen. A freeze failure turning into a $2,400 settlement, a medical debt reinsertion, or just a regular collection, a medical debt reinsertion that brought in $1,200. And now every breach victim automatically gets at least $40. So you know it works to some degree, but when you do it individually, it's much better, with the potential for much more if they document further violations. New segment of the bureaus. And remember, TransUnion isn't only one. Equifax had their massive 2017 breach, 147 million Americans exposed. Experian had multiple incidents, including tens of millions of records in 2020. These companies have been sued again and again, not just for sloppy security, but for ignoring disputes and flat out refusing to follow the law. So if you think TransUnion is a one-off, it's not. The entire credit bureau system runs the same playbook. And I actually break down the 9 countermeasures the bureaus use to fight consumers and why they've been sued over and over. You may see the card pop up here or check the link description, but it's going to be around here and you want to watch that video. And as a bonus, in that video, I also explain how AI is quietly destroying your credit, not fixing it. That's something you can't afford to miss. If you received a data breach from TransUnion, you're already automatically eligible. So guys, if you received a breach notice from TransUnion, you're already automatically eligible for the current $2.5 million class action settlement. No claim for required. A minimum payout of $40 is expected for each affected consumer. However, if you also become a victim of identity theft or fraud as a result of this breach, your legal claim strengthens significantly. In recent lawsuits, breach victims like Crystal Sevigny, who suffered over $30,000 in fraudulent debt tied to the breach, became lead plaintiffs, resulting in damage claims for exceeding class action minimums. Why? Direct ongoing harm such as fraudulent accounts or collections demonstrates both financial injury and the impact of TransUnion's failure to secure data, triggering not only class action eligibility, but also additional claims for statutory and actual damages. This combination of breach letter plus proven identity theft can multiply your eligibility and enlarge your individual settlement award far beyond passive claimants. The secret to maximizing settlements is stacking them. The Fair Credit Reporting Act treats each type of violation as a separate offense, allowing a separate claim and often a separate statutory penalty for each one. For example, a sham investigation where TransUnion fails to meaningfully investigate a dispute, Fair Credit Reporting Act Section 681I, is one violation, and illegal reinsertion of a previously deleted item made without required notice, which is basically Section 681I, subdivision A, 5B, another potentially worth $1,000 or more per violation. Any failed, delayed, or mishandled security freeze, like Section 1681C1, constitutes yet another reporting inaccurate information or failing to update record after a confirmed mistake is its own violation. So Section 1681EB, 1681I, each of these issues can be claimed and documented separately, entitling you to a payout or settlement per proven violation. The more you document clear evidence, date stamp files, government enforcement precedents, the more compensation you may receive. Government precedent reminder. Remember, you're not operating in a vacuum. Every claim you make is backed by real government action. In the last 2 years, the CFPB and FTC have fined TransUnion more than $56 million, like I told you guys earlier, for exactly the same conduct: botched investigations, freeze requests, failures, and data breach handling violations. If regulators demanded multi-million-dollar penalties from TransUnion for violating FCRA standards, your individual claims simply point to the same rulebook. Why does this matter? It proves your claims are legitimate, not speculative. It provides concrete settlement benchmarks and pressure points. What the federal government considered worth millions, a consumer deserves compensation for as well. You can reference class action, case numbers, enforcement action dates, and official settlement terms to strengthen your position during these complaints, and you want to strike when the iron is hot. CFPB filings or legal consultation. Action. Always remember the relevant government settlement or enforcement case whenever you file a claim or complaint. I've done this for decades and decades. Attach documentation of the same patterns in your file to show your case is not an isolated error, but a part of a recognized systemic failure. Breach notice plus identity theft equals bigger payout. Stack multiple violations for multiple claims. Point to CFPB FTC penalties to prove you're acting on established precedent, not speculation. This strategy separates passive participants from proactive, high-value claimants in every major credit bureau settlement. Here's a robust, actionable expansion for Section 5 using the exact framework and legal settlement evidence. Receiving a breach notification from TransUnion puts you directly in line for the class action payout, which currently allocates a minimum of $40 per eligible consumer. No claim form required. But this is just the beginning. If your data was not only exposed, but also weaponized via identity theft, such as fraudulent new accounts or bogus debts, likely plaintiff Sevigny, who reported over $30,000 in fraudulent charges, your case escalates in value. This means you can move beyond the basic claims to pursue statutory and even actual damages for ongoing harm, particularly when you document identity theft linked to the breach timeline. So here's what you do. You save the breach notification file in a police report and an FTC affidavit immediately if suspicious accounts appear. Track every hour and dollar spent fixing identity theft to support additional damages. FCRA violations stack independently. Sham investigations, basically no real response of a dispute. Section 1681I yields one claim. Illegal reinsertion, like previously deleted negative reappearing without notice, Section 681I, subdivision A, 5B, is a separate additional violation. Security freezes or a lock improperly processed or late, Section 691C1 counts again, warranting additional compensation. Data inaccuracies like incorrect information not promptly updated, Section 671B, are yet another. Data inaccuracies such as information not promptly updated, that's Section 681EB, and these are yet another violation that you would stack. Each documented violation means a new legal claim. So 3 distinct failures, investigation, reinsertion, and freeze delay, can result in 3 separate payouts, stacking your settlement value and far beyond the class minimum. Back every claim with dates, screenshots, letters, and cite the relevant FCRA sections. Government precedent. You're not inventing these standards. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, and the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, have already established through enforcement that these are real high-value violations, levying over $56 million in penalties on TransUnion for the exact same offenses in the past 2 years. Regulatory fines, public class actions, and official CFPB orders are all irrefutable evidence that backs your personal claim. So here's how to leverage this. Quote case numbers and fine amounts in your dispute letters or CFPB complaint. Attach enforcement press releases or settlement site printouts to your evidence packet. Make clear that your complaint is part of the pattern the government itself prosecutes and penalizes. Bottom line is, this approach positions your claim as serious, credible, and backed by the legal consensus, not just a disgruntled consumer looking for a quick win. Right now, TransUnion is on his heels. It's vulnerable. They're paying class action claims. Regulators are watching them closely, and consumers like you have the perfect chance to strike while the iron's hot. You can't sit back anymore or stay a victim or hope nothing worse happens with your stolen data. You got to fight back and turn TransUnion's negligence into money in your pocket like we do here at Pinnacle Credit Management. Remember, they've already paid out $56 million in penalties in just 2 years. That money comes from a violation budget. The only real question is, do you want your share? If you were affected by the July breach, don't wait. The class action deadline is November 4, 2025. And if TransUnion has ever mishandled your credit, the violations in your file could be worth much, much more. All right, guys, I'm Andre Nguyen with Pinnacle Credit Management. I've helped thousands of clients turn credit bureau violations into settlement checks. Let's make sure you're next.